Hi, Michael Sheridan here. Welcome to the show where we talk about your dreams and what they mean. It will mostly be me doing the talking, but I can say we because I'm reading out your dreams and comments. Plus, you can also phone into the show now and come on air. The number is, get it quickly, 425-373-5527, or toll free in Western Washington, it's 888-298-KKNW. The theme this week is life purpose. I'll do a few other dreams, but mostly I have chosen dreams about life purpose. I also have a newsletter piece entitled The Power of Your Subconscious, Using Dreams to Help Change Your Reality. I usually start with the newsletter and then run out of time when doing the dreams, so this week I will change the order. If time dictates, I will hold the newsletter piece over until next week. You may notice I have a cold, but unlike Phoebe and Friends, it makes me sound like I'm going through puberty again rather than giving me a sultry voice. Okay, so let's have a look at your dreams. And remembering they're a life purpose theme. This dream comes from James. And he says, I'm in a building. It seems like a church. There is a service about to start. It is an evening service. Someone there asks me if I will stay for the service. I tell the person I would like to shower and change my clothes and that I will be back for the 11:30 p.m. service. As I turn to leave, a woman stops me, asking me about a particular magazine. I have her follow me. I walk down the aisle, walking on magazines that are scattered about on the aisle floor. I take her to a magazine stand on a long table on the other side of the room. The stand, which is white and double-sided, is the only thing on the table. I look at the magazines on the stand on the side to my left first. I see copies of Spain magazine and I hand her a copy. I look on the other side to my right, seeing a copy of Time magazine amongst more copies of the Spain magazine. I hand her the copy of Time. Neither magazine was the one she was looking for or asking about. Unfortunately, after the dream, I can't recall what it was exactly. But I give her what's there and let her decide whether she would like to read them or not. Okay, so it's like any dream. When you hear it at first, it seems to make no sense. But the things that stand out, of course, are it's taking place in a church. So we know this dream is about James' spiritual purpose, his life purpose, his spiritual dimension. And we all have that side of us. Most of us, many of us, don't pay it any lip service at all, which is unfortunate. But if you're listening to this show, you're probably in the small category of people who do. Hopefully you are, because it's really what life is about. Anyway, what we have here is it's really interesting. A woman is involved in the dream, and I have another dream from James after this. I think it's sometimes interesting to look at two dreams from the same dreamer, especially if they're not completely connected in nature. Anyway, so he's been asked if he will stay for the service, and that's a direct question. So James is here to help other people or to work in service for other people. And he's, in the dream, being asked if he's going to do that. Because we all always have a choice. Are we going to stick with what our life purpose is, or are we going to do something else? And we will still achieve an element of our life purpose. It's not all lost. But quite often we hit rough points in the road, and in these rough points, we kind of wonder, am I doing the right thing? Am I a little bit crazy? Should I be taking an easier path? And it's okay. Those times are actually good points in our life. So anyway, here it says, are you going to stay for the service? And really the answer is yes. You're being told you must do this. But you already know this. But you want to shower and change your clothes. And this is about cleansing and changing your attitude. And of course, that's fair enough, because I'll read some comments from James after this. He gives us a little bit of a backstory. So there's a transition period between what you used to do and what you are doing now, and that's important, that you get this change of mind. And in your case, it's not always, and in most people's cases, it's not always an easy transition. And this is where we start to question and wonder. But it brings up things that we need to look at and we need to clear from our being, and that's what the shower represents in your dream. So even though it feels or may have felt like things are going wrong for you, indeed they weren't, because it's only when we question, it's only when things force us to look at them that we actually make the changes that we need to do. So anyway, a woman asks you, so a woman is helping you in this dream. So the issues that you've got to cleanse are going to be issues to do with your mom. And that kind of makes sense because the magazines in this dream, I mean, they're so prominent. They represent an innate counselling skill that you have. So this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be counselling people. And a little bit more than that. Because you're walking on magazines on the floor, it means that you've been helped through counselling yourself. And this is really good. The best counsellors are people who really know how powerful it is and how useful it is. And there's one counsellor I used all the time. I used to send people to all the time in Ireland. Neil, hello to you. And he was absolutely a miracle worker, like walking on water, the things he could do with people. And it's because he knew how powerful and how useful counselling was from it having helped him in his life through the traumas that he had experienced. And I can attest to it myself. But I think, James, in your case, it's a little bit like me. Your dream reminded me of a dream I had where I was looking at newspaper headlines. I discovered I could see newspaper headlines on a newspaper just a few inches below the surface of the ocean. And I noticed I could read them and other people couldn't see them. And I had other dreams about newspapers as well. And I would go through, in the dreams, I would go through people's back gardens and find old newspapers and read the headlines. And really, for a period of time, I actually thought about becoming a counsellor myself and was looking up colleges to study it. And my own dreams told me, no, that wasn't for me. So for me, it's about finding the headlines. So finding the big issues, the big scoop on somebody's past, which is what finding newspapers in the back garden is about, and helping people to realise those and then pointing them in the right direction for the help that they need to get. And I think in your case, James, it's going to be kind of similar. Certainly you're going to help people with your own counselling skill, but you might also refer them to other people. So it's really a case of helping point them in the right direction. And for most people, that's what they need, is knowing where they can get the help. Anyway, your dream, we have this issue between Spain and time. And Spain in dreams, we had Spain last week, and you heard the meaning of Spain before you had this dream. So it's going to mean this for you. It's about healing because it's a hot country. Hot countries represent that, unless you come from that particular country. So it's with the sun representing healing. It's about healing over time because you have the Spain magazine and Time magazine. But these aren't what the person asked for. So this is actually going to be kind of like your issue rather than the person's issue. Right now, you're not getting what you want to get. It's kind of like, in a humorous way, you could say, let me just go get my gun and see if that helps you come up with the correct or better answer, rather than time will heal this. You know, it's you're not getting what you want to hear, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. And it's just a transitional phase you're going through. But of course, we'll go through it. Stubbornness can help us through this at times. But that's all it's about. It's not about you not being able to help people the right way or anything like that. It's all perfect. Everything is the way it needs to be. And again, this dream reminded me of a talk I gave in a library once, and one young lady in her 20s shared a dream, and her dream told her that working on the issues with her dad was in fact her whole life purpose. And the dream gave a lot of the detail about the ages of the issues with her dad, and her dad just didn't see eye to eye, and there was lots of things, and you could tell from her attitude that she felt once she could deal with the issues with her dad, or get away from them, then her life would begin. But it was actually a huge relief to realize now that very issues that you are thinking are holding you back in life are the issues you're here to work on. So our life purpose is not necessarily you're here to heal the planet, or you're here to do amazing things. You're here to improve your own awareness, increase your own awareness. And you've planned it out in great detail how you're best going to do that. And your life is different from everybody else's. So you will usually find that when you feel your life is going the worst, indeed it is not. So let's have a look at a little bit of James's backstory. He says, I've been reading tarot and working with dreams for the past 15 years. I graduated with a master's in psychology 2 years ago, and during my coursework, I became a life coach and started my practice. as I didn't want to participate in the process of labelling people as mentally ill. I became a coach as a result of a dream that pointed me in that direction. I've been in practice as a coach for 3 years now, and even with this, what attracts most people to my work is the tarot. Well, that's fine. It may be what attracts people to you, but certainly the coaching and the counselling is the big one emphasised in this dream. And that's not to mark tarot down as anything that's negative. Indeed, it isn't, because with that skill, you can also help people put them on the right path. And James gives us a little bit more, but I won't cover that now because I want to have a look at another one of his dreams. He says, and this was from a few weeks before, "It's daytime. There is a car coming down the street I'm on. I'm on foot. It's winter. There's snow on the ground and the road. I see the car coming towards a kitten on the road. I manage to get to the kitten just as the car goes by it, keeping it out of harm's way. There is a sewer drain open along the curb of the road, so there was a chance the kitten could have fallen in the opening. The kitten, the sewer drain opening, and I are all on the right side of the road. I take the kitten, which is black and white, and set it on the sidewalk. Another kitten is sitting there. Out of nowhere, a cat comes up to the pair of kittens, making me think it's their mother. I turn and see another cat, and this one is shivering from the cold. I walk up to the house all the cats are in front of to see if there is someone inside who could give me a towel to put around the shivering cat." So, of course, that's the dream, but you're everything in the dream. So the cat represents an aspect of you. And I think we've covered cats a few times on dreams, and it can mean a few different things. But in this dream, it's going to be about your elimination system. And there's other things that back it up in the dream, of course. We have the colours black and white, which are typical of issues with elimination system. And we also have the sewer drain, which on its own is enough. But it's just always interesting to see that dreams cover many symbols, all about the same thing. So this is saying, if you look at your other dream, the other dream about taking the shower is about cleansing issues from the past. This dream is saying your physical elimination system needs something to kickstart it or to improve it. So it's always linked. Psychologically holding on to issues from the past slows down our digestive system and then slows down our elimination system and can give us issues there. They don't have to be big issues, but just something that you will be familiar with. I mean, you will be aware that they're going on. And here we have, you say that you think somebody is the cat's mother. The cats are out in the snow, so they're in the cold. So this is saying your issues that you've got, even in the other dream, a woman comes up along. So the issues that you need to cleanse are issues with your mom, ties in with this dream too. So the physical symptoms are connected with the other work that you need to do, which is always good to know, because then working on one will help with the issues of the other. You're also a channel, of course, because that's come up with walking down the aisle of the church. So attention drawn to the aisle of the church and the two sides of the magazine rack. They back that up too. So what else do you say? You say, I left my job of 20 years in the past July to focus more time and energy on the business. I thought it would be a relatively easy transition to make, but I wound up falling into a depression and questioning myself and God. And again, these are normal things. And it's good to question from time to time. Never take everything at face value. Don't even take anything I'm saying at face value. You really need to make sure it resonates with you and it is your truth. It's not that the truth changes, but your path in life is your path in life, and it's not dictated to you by other people. It's already decided before you came here, and that's what you need to find. And indeed, James, you have. Okay, so let's have a look at another dream from Jamie. She says, I'm a tour guide covering for someone else. It's an historical type of tour with stops where I, as the guide, will comment on each stop. The first stop isn't very far in and is an antique desk or piece of furniture. It's wood and really pretty. There are people on the tour, including 2 women. I don't feel confident in my tour guide capabilities, but I know I have the cheat sheet and use it to explain the piece. Okay, quite a nice short little dream. And I've been doing this for 25 years. And over that time, I've come across a number of people, not a lot, in the tens, people who are actually guides who are here and incarnate on the planet. A guide is an angel. It's different terminology in many different parts of the world, but angels and guides are the same thing. Generally, they stay on the spirit plane and help us by guiding us in our life, guiding us into the trouble we need to get into and out of the trouble once we're in it. And it's really important. Their job is so super important. For every one person on the planet, you've got several spirits helping them. If you could actually see all the rooms, when all the spirits, when you're in a room talking to a group, they far outnumber the human hosts. So it's quite intriguing. But anyway, Jamie is a guide, and she's here in that capacity. Interestingly, also, you tend to find people who are guides live lives in two halves. Like the first part of their life, they're almost unaware that they have this ability. And then for the second part of their life, people who know them would say, they really changed at this point and they just went off almost at a tangent, but it still fits their personality. So I really just brought this one up to say, okay, she's here to help other people, but she doesn't really, from the dream, she doesn't really feel comfortable. She doesn't feel that she's capable. And I mean, she says that right in the dream, I don't feel confident in my capabilities. And that's fair enough. And she also says, I have the cheat sheet and use it to explain. So again, even when she is helping people, she feels like she's cheating, that somebody else could do it better, like the person who trained her. And of course, that's the issue that this dream is bringing up for Jamie to deal with, is to get over her fear and develop her confidence in what is her ability and what is her status, and realize that she's not cheating, of course, that it is her skill. Okay, so this next dream comes from Don. He says, I'm standing in what appears to be a hotel lobby, not to check in, but to observe the many people travelling through it. They often appear in outline form where I can't see their physical features, but only a general shape. There are usually quite a lot of them, and yet the lobby never feels rushed or cramped. I always feel very much at home. Okay, so the hotel lobby tells us this dream is about birth, but in a rare twist, it is about the birth of others. The dreamer is watching others check in at the time of their birth, and the dream tells him that he has the ability to see an outline of why they are born with an emphasis that it is not on the physical. Don offered this dream to me at a recent presentation I gave on dreams. When I told him he was a medium with the specific ability I described above, out of modesty, he was a bit hesitant to acknowledge it, but it didn't matter. His friends in the audience acknowledged it for him. I later asked Don if he would describe how he uses the ability in reality, and this is what he wrote back to me in his own words. It's not a tool that I consistently use as such. It's more like an integral part of my being that comes into play whenever I'm involved with a spiritual practice like mediumship. I'm pretty sure it has played a large part in leading me to take up the spiritual pursuits that I have formed, such as a major role in my life from a very young age. I suspect it has also played a significant role in developing the empathic side of my nature. Watching people and sensing their various inner selves, even a little, can't help but contribute to a greater understanding of their nature and how to relate to their circumstances now. So thanks for that, Don. I am skipping forward because this one dream I really loved, and I just want to make sure I cover it. Okay, this one is from Barbara. And Barbara sent this in the tiniest font I ever saw in life. I didn't even know that computers could do such a small font, but I was able to borrow a high-power electron microscope and read it. So it says, I'm at Taxis Combined working and doing a recording on my phone, talking about my life and how I ended up here. I'm then in a gift shop. Stuart shows me this necklace that a customer bought and is picking up later. He asks me to reset it and make it better. I get my jewellery tools out and remember I don't really like using them anymore. I look at the piece and I see the price tag is $459, not $45.90 as I originally thought. It's expensive, so I take it to the guy behind the counter and tell him that I won't reset it because the customer deserves to get what they paid for no matter what Stuart says. The guy agrees with me. An older man turns up with his wife. He could be the boss and he likes my attitude. We sit down and chat and he is talking about his infidelities. His wife is accepting but irritated and says she doesn't know why he doesn't restrain himself. Okay, so thanks for the dream, Barbara. I really, really like this one. It's probably one of my favorite dreams in many years. And the reason I like it is because resetting the jewelry piece took a little bit to get at, but it's about reincarnation. It's taking something that's antique and old, or in this case from a past life, and putting it into a new current setting and reusing it. And there's other things that give us a clue that this dream is about reincarnation, although it's not a common subject, and that is the number nines that come up. Nines indicate that Barbara has been wondering about. She's obviously very tuned into the whole spirit world, and she's been wondering whether she's going to come back or how long this goes on for. And this dream says you don't have to come back. Indeed, you won't come back. You don't have that intention. And not resetting the jewelry pieces also says the exact same thing. But there is something you still need to work on. There's a whole lot more value to life to be had as you are, and you're being asked to finish what you came here to do. And it shows in this dream as I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but as cold relationships with males, and that's not just with partners, it's all males, brothers, sons, fathers, grandsons. Relationships with males can be affected because of experiences you've had where you have been hurt by men in your life. So that's still what you have to do, and that's what's necessary to work on to make sure that you don't have to come back. You will achieve it in this lifetime. There's nothing in this dream says you won't. But it's quite an interesting dream. Is there anything else in there? Just the 4 and the 5, karmic path. So you're still on the karmic path, even though you're an advanced soul, but you don't want to limit the path you're on, and that's what the price is about. But I really like the way in the dream you're saying people should get what they paid for. So you've paid your debts. It's already been paid for. No need to tart it up and start off again and come here again. Okay. So let's have a look at another dream. We have 3 minutes. So we have one from Julie. I'm at a mall with my husband. I see a black ops van. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's what came to me. Enclosed in glass walls. I go inside. There are multiple computer terminals with controllers sticking out from the van all the way around it with chairs in front of the screens. I sit down and my husband sits down at the terminal next to me, to my right. There are even headphones, but I don't use them. I don't play the game. I'm just watching a woman in the game, like a demo game that plays. I look down and see coins in a tray. There are different kinds of coins. All are silver with a few black pieces. But I am most interested in the quarters. They're very shiny and I really want them. So I gather all the quarters that I can. I'm being a little bit sneaky because I don't know if I should be doing this. I go to the checkout counter. There is a woman there with blonde hair, very friendly. I have my quarters in a jar and I don't want her to see that I have them. I look over my shoulder at the computer I was just at. On the screen, I see the woman I was watching earlier. She looks at me and says, "Are you ready to play?" and holds the quarter out to me. Now I feel guilty for taking the quarters because I realize that other people have paid with these quarters to play the game and I shouldn't have them. I put them back. Okay, so this dream is extremely revealing, and this is a good example of why you don't just throw your dreams out to people without knowing what they're about. And also, I've never had the problem with people coming to me with dreams. They're always very open and honest. Like people will show up and say at the start, "Here are my dreams, and by the way, I've had 2 abortions," or whatever it happens to be, things that you would quite often think people wouldn't share. But that's the way counselling works. People open up. They need to open up. This dream, the quarters are the emphasis on this dream, and the quarters in this dream represent having your own space, and it can be a physical space. So like having your own location. So being in a relationship but wanting your own place. And you feel guilty. This is what you say in the dream. You feel guilty and feel like you're being sneaky and so on. And you're not really playing the game. You also won't put on the headphones. So your husband is playing this game, but you don't want to play the game. So it's about the relationship, and it's about you wanting to be in the relationship but wanting, and it's not space, it's physical, your own location. You want to be able to do things that you would feel guilty about doing in a relationship. So there are many other things in this dream, and they don't really say the dream doesn't comment on this. Here's the thing: spiritually, marriage is something that's been invented. You could say it doesn't exist in the spirit world, and as long as a relationship is good for you, then you'll be encouraged to stay in it. This dream doesn't say you need to get out of it or anything like that, but it says you need to deal with the things that are causing you to feel guilty and be more open. The glass walls and the glass jar that you have the quarters in show your ability to, you have a strong intuition, and the silver coins also represent that. But things that are going to make you fearful are going to block that ability. That's the black pieces in with the silver coins. So it's a nice dream because of the way it all works and the way it's also obvious. So the things that it's asking you to do are to get your head back in the game and engage with your partner and listen, put the headphones on. There's another dream of yours that I also wanted to do, but we'll catch it by email. So that's it for this week. I hope I haven't just lost a listener with that interpretation. But that's what it's about. The dreams are very personal, very revealing, and really, really cool. So until next week, thank you very much.